This upload will serve at your leisure as a audio history of the rock group Bauhaus, their song Bela Lugosi's Dead, and the session which spawned it, as well as the art school, the architectural school of the Weimar Republic in Germany, wherein the rock group got its name from. One of the most enjoyable EPs of all time, I think, has been this 2018 release of the Bela session. It features the Bela Lugosi's Dead track, the track's original B-side, plus the 3 other tracks, which have never been released but were recorded in the same session as the former tracks. A great distillation of Bauhaus's sound. This was their first recording session. It shows them consolidating their sonic personality prior to the recording of the absolutely amazing In the Flat Field LP, which was released in 1980. To give you some backstory on Bauhaus, let's go to the Free Encyclopedia and read this aloud for you all. Bauhaus are an English rock band formed in Northampton in 1978. Known for their dark image and gloomy sound, Bauhaus are one of the pioneers of Gothic rock, although they mixed many genres including dub, glam rock, psychedelia, and funk. The group consists of Daniel Ash, guitar, saxophone, Peter Murphy, vocals, occasional instruments, Kevin Haskins, drums, and David J, bass. The band formed under the name Bauhaus 1919 in reference to the first operating year of the German art school Bauhaus, but they shortened this name within a year of formation. Their 1979 debut single, Bela Lugosi's Dead, is considered one of the harbingers of Gothic rock music and has been influential on contemporary goth culture. Their debut album, In the Flat Field, is regarded as one of the first Gothic rock records. Their 1981 second album, Mask, expanded their sound by incorporating a wider variety of instruments such as keyboard, saxophone, and acoustic guitar, and experimenting with funk-inspired rhythms on tracks like Kick in the Eye. Bauhaus went on to achieve mainstream success in the United Kingdom with their third album, The Sky's Gone Out, which peaked at number 3 on the UK albums chart in 1982. That same year, they also reached number 15 on the singles chart with a standalone cover of David Bowie's Ziggy Stardust, earning them an appearance on Top of the Pops. During recording sessions for their next album, Murphy fell ill and spent much of his time away from the studio, leaving the rest of the band to compensate for his absence. This created a rift between the singer and his bandmates, culminating in the group's dissolution on the 5th of July 1983, 1 week before Burning from the Inside was released. I tend to think of Burning from the Inside as a fantastic Bauhaus release, although you could suggest it blends more in with the waves of post-punk and gothic rock going on around that time. Bauhaus imitators rather than what was unique and distinct about Bauhaus themselves. It's a bit less dub and a bit more typical gloomy soundscapes of a kind of guitar-oriented variety. Perhaps there's piano in there. It's perhaps more archetypal than one would hope of the kind of unpredictability from the first 2 Bauhaus albums. But I really love how familiar and realized Burning from the Inside is as such a holistic example of that gothic rock world. I think because it was such a conscious attempt to achieve the Bauhaus sound, to as they suggested, compensate for Peter Murphy's absence for the most part from those sessions. Featuring the hit single She's in Parties, it would be their final studio album composed entirely of new material for a quarter of a century. Unfortunately, the 2008 release Go Away White is not very good in my opinion. It's kind of whatever. After Bauhaus breakup, Murphy formed Dali's Car with Japan's bassist Mick Kahn before beginning a solo career later on, while Ash and Haskins continued as Tones on Tail and later reunited with David J to form Love and Rockets. One of their albums is really good. I used to have it on my iTunes of some years ago. Both enjoyed greater commercial success in the United States than Bauhaus had, but disappeared from the charts in their homeland. Bauhaus eventually reunited for a 1998 tour, again from 2005 to 2008, and once again in 2019. On to the track Bela Lugosi's Dead. Let's talk a bit about this. What have we got here to read? Bela Lugosi's Dead was recorded live in the studio in a single take during a 6-hour session at Beck Studios in Wellingborough on the 26th of January 1979. It was the first thing they recorded together 6 weeks after the band had formed. All 4 band members are credited as writers of the song: vocalist Peter Murphy, guitarist Daniel Ash, drummer Kevin Haskins, and bassist David J as David Haskins. David J has claimed that he wrote the lyrics. Alternate versions of Bela Lugosi's Dead also included a portion of the early demo recording of their next single, Dark Entries. 4 additional songs were also recorded during the same session: Boys, Bite My Hip, Some Faces, and the ska reggae tune Harry, which was about Deborah Harry, the lead singer of Blondie. Regarding this session, Kevin Haskins said, "There's power pop in there, and ska too. We were trying to find our voice." Of the songs recorded during that session, aside from Bela Lugosi's Dead, only Harry found an official release in 1982 as a B-side to the single Kick in the Eye. Oh yeah, What did I say was the single? Oh no, yeah, no, there was a track from this session was the B-side. Boys, Harry was the B-side, yeah, good. A version of Boys recorded at the Beck Studios later in 1979 was used as a B-side to the original release of the Bela Lugosi's Dead single. Okay. So yeah, I was, I guess, partly correct. It was a song from this session, but not the recording from this session. The remaining tracks, including the original recording of Boys, remained unreleased until 2018 when the Bela session was released on vinyl and CD and made available for digital download by the band. Of the additional tracks, Classic Rock Magazine wrote that the rest of the material finds the band fumbling for direction, even touching on ska. You gotta love, I don't know, man, the Some Faces, that kind of like 60s, mid-60s, late 60s pop tune, that's good stuff. I like that. Some Faces. You like the Small Faces, it's fun. Anyway, the song, Bela Lugosi's Dead, is over 9 minutes long. The vocals start in the studio version almost 3 minutes into the track. The dub-influenced guitar sound was achieved by using partial bar chords, B-A-R-R-E. I assume that's how you pronounce it. That's how you pronounce Martin Barr from Jethro Tull anyway, and leaving the top E and B strings open. The song takes its name from the horror film star Bela Lugosi, who is known for his role as the title character in the 1931 film Dracula. The sleeve cover art was taken from the 1926 film The Sorrows of Satan, directed by D.W. Griffith. Believe it or not, I never actually watched that film. I haven't seen all of Griffith. I've seen maybe 5 of the films. These 5 most famous films are the ones I've seen. David J. had to say, "We were very influenced by reggae, especially dub. I mean, basically, Bela was our interpretation of dub." Bela Lugosi's Dead is considered the harbinger of Gothic rock music and has been immensely influential on contemporary goth culture. In an article by The Guardian titled Bauhaus Invent Goth, the newspaper ranked for song number 19 on their list of the 50 key events in indie music history, stating Bela Lugosi's Dead would have been just another piece of post-punk experimentation had it not been for the lyrics, which depicted the funeral of the Dracula star, with bats swooping and virgin brides marching past his coffin. The effect was so irresistibly theatrical that dozens of bands formed in its wake, so many in fact that goth quickly became a very codified musical genre. The song was ranked number 60 in Rolling Stone's the 100 Greatest Debut Singles of All Time. This is a quote here from Pop Matters in 2009. Bela Lugosi's Dead is roundly established by goth historians as the first true record in the genre. For comparison's sake, goth icons The Cure and Susie and the Banshees were certainly releasing records at the same time that Bauhaus delivered its premiere single, but the aforementioned bands didn't go full-on goth until 1980 to 81. The song also precedes all the early recognised alt-rock masterworks. Very interesting stuff. Oh, I said I'd read a little bit about the Bauhaus Art School. Let's do that. The Staatliches... I'm pronouncing that. What's that? Staatliches Bauhaus, more commonly known as the Bauhaus, German for building house, was a German art school operational from 1919 to 1933 that combined crafts and the fine arts. The school became famous for its approach to design, which attempted to unify individual artistic vision with the principles of mass production and emphasis on function. The Bauhaus was founded by architect Walter Gropius in Weimar. It was grounded in the idea of creating a Gesamtkunstwerk, comprehensive artwork, in which all the arts would eventually be brought together. The Bauhaus style later became one of the most influential currents in modern design, modernist architecture, and architectural education. The Bauhaus movement had a profound influence upon subsequent developments in art, architecture, graphic design, interior design, industrial design, and typography. Staff at the Bauhaus included prominent artists such as Paul Klee, Wassily Kandinsky, and Laszlo Moholy-Nagy at various points. The school existed in 3 German cities of Weimar from 1919 to 1925, Dessau from 1925 to 1932, and Berlin from 1932 to 1933. Under 3 different architect directors, Walter Gropius from 1919 to 1928, Hans Meyer from 1928 to 1930, and Ludwig Miles van der Rohe from 1930 until 1933, when the school was closed by its own leadership under pressure from the Nazi regime, having been painted as a centre of communist intellectualism. Internationally, former key figures of Bauhaus were successful in the United States and became known as the avant-garde. for the international style. The changes of venue and leadership resulted in a constant shifting of focus, technique, instructors, and politics. For example, the pottery shop was discontinued when the school moved from Weimar to Dessau, even though it had been an important revenue source. When Miles van der Rohe took over the school in 1930, he transformed it into a private school and would not allow any supporters of Hans Meyer to attend it. Just a little bit about the design style. The Bauhaus style tends to feature simple geometric shapes like rectangles and spheres without elaborate decorations. Buildings, furniture, and fonts often feature rounded corners and sometimes rounded walls. Other buildings are characterized by rectangular features, for example protruding balconies of flat, chunky railings facing the street and long banks of windows. Furniture often uses chrome metal pipes that curve at corners. To me, Bauhaus is one of the coolest rock groups of all time. Any recording, any live session you happen to listen to of Bauhaus, provided it's not a garbage recording at least, is a very entertaining piece of work. Their live shows, if you find video of it, it's absolutely extraordinary. I just think they had such an interesting approach to songwriting. Very few Bauhaus songs feel like a cliche song to me. It all feels like this manic, unique mood. It all feels like they were bored of the last song and want to do something new. It's such a unique project. And if there's any group that never lost their credibility in any particular elitist snobby world, any rock group anywhere, it's probably Bauhaus, right? Nominate any others.